What is happening, my YouTube family? It is your boy Xery from the XMG coming at you tonight to bring you the results of the poll from the month of July 2020, where I asked viewers out there to let me know who your top 5 worst characters in Dragon Champions are. And I made a list of my top 5 long before your results were in, so I wasn't swayed by any of your results. And I gotta say thank you to everybody out there who voted. We had 705 votes into this poll, and they were scattered all over the place, but there's definitely 5 that stuck out above the rest. And again, thank you. And in this video there is going to be a link for the next poll for August 2020, and I've created my list already. And I need you to go on and vote for your 5 best plug and play characters within the game of Dragon Champions. So what we're going to do with this video is I'm going to give you my 5, you're going to see your 5, and it's going to be my 5. There'll be a cut screen, so there shouldn't be any sort of confusion. I'm going to talk about what's good and bad for my characters. And I was always taught if you aren't part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So I'm going to have a special guest come on. We're going to talk about how we can make your top 5 characters better. So kind of rework those characters to make them better within the game of Dragon Champion. If you're just finding me for the first time, click that subscribe button, turn on notifications, all that good stuff that comes along with it. On this channel, we make Dragon Champions content, we make Disney Sorcerer's Arena content. I can't do math or read apparently, so I gotta say sorry for the last video where I misread the chest. For some reason, I read 100 and I thought it said 1,000, and then my math was off, so apologize for that one. Enough joking aside, let's jump into my top 5 worst characters. And again, it'll be mine, number 5, your number 5, and so on and so on. Let's get into it. My number 5 is Mega Wheel, and Mega Wheel is a demon defender, and he comes in at number 5. Now I'm going to give you some good things about the character, and then I'm going to give you things that I don't really care for about this character. Mega Wheel has a speed of 120. 120 is pretty good for a defender, and you want him around that 120, 130 range unless they're Kelrin, and that is a plus. You don't got to look for much speed in the secondaries. His health and shield combination is the second largest in the game before you put on runes or artifacts, and that comes in right around 65,800. So very, very survivable, or at least he should be. Now his armor, 3rd best for physical armor in the game and 4th best for magic armor in the game. And his taunting mechanic is actually quite good. If you read his taunting mechanic here, it states he gains taunt and cheat death for 2 turns, removes 2 debuffs, and covers 25% health. He has a huge health pool. 25% of that health being recovered, pretty good. Taunting mechanism, cheat death, always good on tanks. So he has a very good taunting mechanism. So you might be saying, Xery, then why is he your number 5 worst character in the game of Dragon Champions? Everything I just read you, besides the health, kind of throw out the window. He should be survivable, but he's really not. He's pretty easy to burn down. I don't really ever run into a problem. If I see Mega Wheel somewhere, I'm not scared. Gearing this guy is absolutely awful. He could be one of the worst gears in the game, if not the worst. I mean, you are up to like 4 raid pieces by level 8. It's insane. He does have the stats survivability wise to back it up, but sinking that much gear into this character when he's not very good is tough to swallow. Now he is a defender, but he kind of has like a quasi not defender kit. We're going to kind of take a look at that right now. He relies heavily on stacks of pain, and his kit isn't really built to make him survivable. His kit is to kind of deal damage. 230 physical damage on a basic is not terrible, and he applies 1 stack of pain for 5 turns. So he only has to go through 1 potency tenacity check. We got his taunting mechanism, which we went over. Then we have You Call That a Hit, where he deals 220 physical damage to all enemies, removes all stack of pain for them, and then deals 50% of the physical damage more for each stack of pain. Sounds awesome, right? And then his passive ability increases crit chance by 6% for each living demon, so he's built for damage. Survivable, stat-wise, yes, built for damage, right? Right, sounds pretty easy to do. You pair him with Kyra, he'll constantly go, but he's still got to pass that 1 potency tenacity check. And that's kind of hard to do when you have 0 potency. 0. He has 0 potency. He's one of 3 characters in the game that have 0 potency. For a kit that relies so much on potency, you gotta have some potency in there. Maybe cut down his survivability a bit and give him some potency. But because his kit is so heavily reliant on potency and he has 0, he is awful to gear. You don't know how to rune this guy. Yeah, he's survivable, but he's your tank. But he's built for damage in his kit, and he needs potency. Way too many rune choices. Not a fan of Mega Wheel, making him come in at number 5. Coming in at number 5 for you, the viewers, Syngeel, everyone's favorite elf and healer. Receiving 52 votes, Syngeel ranks number 5. My number 4 is Kung Fu Panda Shaolin himself. And Shaolin has some good things going for him, maybe. And he's got a lot of bad things going for him. Let's start with the positive on Shaolin. First thing I can say about Shaolin, he's really easy to get. I mean, you can farm him up, and get him up to 7 stars rather quickly. He's not very hard to gear at all. He doesn't require a lot of endgame gear, so you can get him up to gear 11 if you really wanted to. He's one of the only characters in the game with multi-hit single target functionality, so that in itself is pretty cool, right? Pandas also don't have a healer, and his basic heals himself. He gets 10% healing from his basic. Pretty good, right? Well, probably not, because some negatives about Shaolin: he has a max speed at gear 11 of 134. It's horrible. Terrible. Just, I don't even know what to say. 134. For a heavy damage dealer, crit chance, 22%. Wow. And he's supposed to be this heavy damage, single target damage dealer, and he has a crit rate of 22%. Kind of low. And then let's just talk about his move kit, if we could. Basic, 270 physical damage to an enemy. If the target's health is above 50%, you gain 10% health. Wonderful, right? Healing himself. Pandas really don't have a healer. But then you think about it. His max health at gear 11 before artifacts and runes is 20,098. So 10% of that healing, if they're above 50%, on a basic, is about 209. Not really getting too far with that, you know? Just sounds pretty good until you break it down. Next move, triple serving. Attacks an enemy 3 times. Each attack deals 140 physical damage. 140 physical damage is really low. Like, you know, we have multiple attackers. AoE is doing more damage than that. Sharp does more damage than that. I mean, not by much. It's an extra 10%, but still. It just seems so low. You want him to be this massive damage dealer. He barely goes. Then when he does go, he's only dealing 140. Third move, attacks random targets 7 times. Each target only deals 100% physical damage. I know it's random, right? But if that was attacks an enemy 7 times and deals 100% physical damage, and maybe that couldn't crit, awesome move. But Essentially, you're doing less than a basic, and you're going to hit somebody in the party more than once. But not if you're fighting more Doom. He drops 2 demons. There's 7 people in your party. You're going to attack each of them for 100%. Not the best. And I don't really care for that at all. Then passive ability. Accuracy by 15%, an additional 5% for each living panda in the party. Now I understand the thought process behind this. Give him more accuracy, right? That way he can land those multi-hits. Nobody gets missed. But he's weak. He doesn't have a lot of damage to him. Crit chance is extremely low. Maybe, he gets 15% accuracy and some crit chance for living pandas in the party. Something like that. But we'll kind of get to that when we review. But in theory, on paper, this sounds fantastic. But it's just not a good character. And it doesn't play out the way you think in your head it might. And that is why Shaolin comes in at number 4 for me. Number 4 for you viewers, we tied. Shaolin. 62 votes for Shaolin, making him number 4 for you, the viewers. Coming in at number 3 for me, Vorian the Trickster. Vorian the Trickster is a really confusing character for me. If you read his kit without looking at any stats, it sounds like a pretty good kit. And that's one of the positives for me. You read his kit, and it doesn't sound like he would be in the top 5 worst characters in the game. I mean, he has a very good physical damage. 2,900, right at 38, I think. A little bit below 3,000 physical damage to start. Exceptional. Speed, 159 to start. Very good starting point. You can easily get him over 200 speed. Pretty good starting point. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. 26 critical chance. Higher middle of the road. For a damage dealer, it's kind of what we're looking for, right? Sounds good. Tenacity, 36. He'll be able to resist stuff. Get past that potency tenacity check, right? No. He has some flaws. Some major flaws. And it's kind of sad because Vorian could be really good, and I love the way he looks, his little lizardmen design. But he's got some flaws. Health and shield combination, 35,000. Before runes, max level, very low. Very, very low. Very squishy character. And we're just going to talk about his move kit, because reading it sounds pretty good. Basic, 230 physical damage, 80% chance to poison the target for 2 turns. Why 80%? Why isn't it just poison the target for 2 turns? Again, that's odd. Second ability, deals 360 physical damage, right? That sounds really, really good. Deals 420 physical damage if they're poisoned. Oh, I can put poison on my basic, right? Then I poison the target again for 3 turns. That's a long time. Third move, 320 physical damage removes 3 stacks of poison from the enemy, dealing 100% piercing damage for each stack removed. Piercing damage ignores armor. Wow, this guy's going to be really good. And then his passive applies poison. It has a 30% chance to apply 2 stacks instead of 1. So when I'm applying poison, I got a 30% chance to put 2 on. Sounds pretty good, right? Then you realize he has 0 potency. Right now, my runed character, artifactless character, has 36.81% potency. I am receiving 36.81% potency from runes. How can a kit be so reliant on potency and he has 0? His basic still has to go through 2 of those potency tenacity checks because it's only an 80% shot. He needs potency. And it's a shame. And then you run into the line, much like you did with Mega Wheel, is how do you rune this guy? You know, we want him to go fast. Do we want to give him the damage? Do we want to upgrade his crit rate? But we always got to look for potency, and I have a potency set on this guy. Potency in all the secondaries. Yes, they're only 2 dot greens, but he's only at 36% potency. Some people start at that. There's characters in the game that don't need potency and have like 50% potency to start, and they don't even need it. Like, it would make him so much better if his health came up a little bit. I mean, his health to start is like 15k. There's Glass Cannon, and then there's just Vorian the Trickster. So that's why Vorian the Trickster is my number 3. Coming in at number 3 for the viewers, we tied again. Vorian the Trickster. 70 votes. Vorian the Trickster is your 3rd worst character in the game of Dragon Champions. Coming in at number 2, my 2nd worst champion in the game of Dragon Champions is Old Lore. And it's a shame because goblins are an extremely good faction, and he is the worst of the best for a couple different reasons. But he does do some things good, so we're going to kind of talk about that first. He has good starting physical damage at 2877, so he is made to do damage, and his physical damage is good. And if you can have him survive long enough, he can do some damage. He has 1020 penetration, so that's one of the highest starting in the game. So he's made to go through armor. That's really good. He has physical armor of 29%. Again, one of the highest in the game. Health and shield combination come in right around 42,000 to start. Not bad, right? But then you dig deeper into Old Lore, and we find out there's some things that he just can't overcome. Starting with a max speed of 119. Wow. He's slower than some tanks. He's slower than Mega Wheel, right? That's rough. That's really hard to get by. His magic armor is absolutely atrocious. He gets slaughtered by magic damage, and he just can't hold up. His health and shield combination are great, but magic damage just destroys him. Nightl, Freezard, More Doom, they'll just cut through him, hot knife through butter. Most of the time he dies before he can even go. And then you take a look at his kit, and there's some odd choices in his kit. Basic ability, 260 physical damage. A dazed target will receive 340 physical damage. So he does have the synergy with the daze, and I did forget to mention that. And that's good when you pair him with like a Dr. Frank, who puts on a shock, then can daze him. It sounds like it would be something good. Triple strike, attack an enemy 3 times. Each attack deals 140 physical damage. Dazes the target for 2 turns if all 3 attacks hit the target. So he can put on his own daze. Awesome. You know, we see here 340 physical damage. Same as Shaolin, just seems super low. Then this move, Preparation. I don't like moves like this. Gains a critical chance increase, potency increase, accuracy increase for 2 turns, and recovers 50% of his turn meter. I don't like moves that you have to waste a turn to make yourself more powerful. Sometimes it's hard for Old Lore to make it 2 turns. So you make it all the way through the first one, you put on Preparation, you still haven't done any damage because you want to increase your critical chance, your potency, you want to land those 3 hits. He gets 50% of his turn meter back, and then you die. Then his passive ability is really rough. Like, I know goblins and elves are like mortal enemies, but deals 30% more critical damage for each living elf in the enemy's party. I wish there was something more to that. Not very many elves are run. Now, when he was made especially, you know, now we have Thalain, we have Count Delman, we have Nightl. That's really it. Maybe Phalia if people have her unlocked and up and running. But when he was really made, there was Nightl. You weren't really using much more than Nightl. So we've kind of upgraded our elves, and I think we should upgrade Old Lore. So that is why Old Lore comes in at number 2 on my top 5 list. Coming in at number 2 for you, the viewers, is Robin Bad. With 73 votes, Robin Bad is voted the second worst champion in Dragon Champions. And I'll give you a hint, he didn't make my list. But I understand. I loathe Robin Bad. And apparently, you all do too. And my number 1 worst character in Dragon Champions comes to you from Syngeel. Now, Syngeel is not very good for a couple reasons. He does have some good stuff going for him, right? Let's think about that first. Start off with the positive. He has burn synergy, so somebody like Amara or Ember, he does put burn on his basic. Cool. He has a potency of 50%. Second highest in the game. He's going to get those to stick. You don't really need to stack much more potency on him. Just maybe pick it up in the secondaries and you're all good. On his second ability, he's healing and then giving regeneration to the 3 allies with the lowest health. So that's good. He's putting on 1 regeneration to the 3 lowest health allies, trying to increase your survivability. And then he also has 1175 penetration. So he should be able to break through those heavy armor characters and a healer. But it's a plus for his overall stats. And then you read his stats. And then you read his move kit, and it just kind of falls apart from there. He has a speed of 134, so you got to get him fast. I have, there you go, 2 green runes. He's at 183. Yeah, he's very slow. Not something you want in a healer. Health and shield combination, almost 37k. Really squishy. Really squishy. Anybody who's fought Syngeel knows you can take him out fairly quickly. And that's being generous. And then we're going to kind of get into his move kit. First ability, 190 magic damage to an enemy and inflicts burning for 2 turns. Now, I said he had burning synergy, which is good, which can be. But why does he have burning on his basic? It just doesn't seem to make any sense at all. But maybe there's something down the line that I don't know about. Second ability, applies 2 stacks of regeneration to 3 allies. Awesome. But he does nothing but put on regeneration. Doesn't heal, just puts on 3 stacks of regeneration. Or 2 stacks of regeneration to 3 allies. To the lowest health allies. So he's not like mass healing and applying the regeneration like Renara, he's just putting on regeneration. Third ability, heals the target ally by 500% of Syngeel's magical damage, applies regeneration for 4 turns. Single target heal, 500% of Syngeel's magic damage. Sounds pretty good? Well, not really. Syngeel has a magic damage to start of 2693. Not very high. Then his passive ability increases magic damage by 10% for each stack of regeneration on his allies. Okay, that isn't bad, but he doesn't get a chance to put regeneration on. He applies 2 stacks of regeneration to 3 allies for 2 turns. Perfect. It starts on a 1-turn cooldown. He's probably dead before he gets to go. Then heals the target opponent 500 and applies regeneration, so you get 1 stack of regeneration. He doesn't apply enough regeneration to make that passive be useful. So, just frustrating in and of itself. These are just some of the reasons why Syngeel is my number 1 worst character in the game. And to round it all off, the viewers' number 1 worst character in the game is Old Lore. He was my number 2. So we weren't too terribly off on our thoughts. The only really one we had different, I had Mega Wheel, you had Robin Bad. I had Mega Wheel 5, your Robin Bad was 2. Not very off, but he came in first with 84 votes to be the worst character in Dragon Champions. So there is my top 5 and your top 5. So there it is, everybody. There is my list versus your list. And like I was saying, we didn't disagree on much. And let me say, and I probably should have said this in the beginning, I'm not knocking or making fun of these characters, because I do think there's slight tweaks that we can make these characters a lot better. And I'm not trying to bash these characters or, you know, the developers who made them, saying they did a terrible job. No, they're just bad in the game, and every game has bad characters, and we got to try to fix them. We got to try to put our input in and fix these characters, and that video is coming up next. So this was a lot of fun for me, and like I said, comments down below on what you thought of mine versus yours, and was I way off? And I don't think I was, based on what everybody voted for. If you would like to participate in the poll for August 2020 for the top 5 best plug and play characters in the game of Dragon Champions, in the link down below, click that, go over there and vote for, please only vote for 5 of who you think are the best 5 plug and play characters. I think I've said that enough. So that is what I got for everybody today, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I already made my top 5 plug and play list. So now I can just kind of watch the votes and see if we line up like we did here. So again, sorry about the mistake with the math on the chess, and I'm sure I messed up math in here. Math and reading, I guess, aren't my friend. So, with that being said, if you're just finding me for the first time and you're liking what you're seeing, click that subscribe button, turn on notifications, all that good stuff that goes along with it. For all my family members out there, thanks for picking on me. Thanks for pointing it out to me. It can only get better if I know I screw up. So, and lucky for me, I got you guys, and lucky for you, I screw up a lot. I love y'all. See you in the next one. I'm out.